let this happen again, best believe both of y'all mother cluckers not gonna be related to me. Just saying. I mean, how you feeling about this Christmas sweater? You know, I mean, I like it. My cousin likes it, but I mean, how do y'all feel about it? You know, let me know that in the comment section. I mean, yeah. Oh, and this is oversized. I took y'all advice when I asked that question. When you get a sweater, should it be oversized? Most of y'all said yes, so I took that advice. And this is an XL. I usually wear medium, so I mean, I like it. It's roomy as hell. But sup? No.
Hey, what's up everybody? Uncle Unit here, and before we get into today's stories, I wanted to let you guys know that I have created a second YouTube channel called Uncle Unit, and on this new channel I'm going to be doing mask reviews, I'm going to be doing horror film reviews, Q&A videos, and generally just more horror related content with more of a personal touch. So if you guys want to check that out, I'll leave a link below in the description. I've been feeling the need to branch out for a while now, and this new channel will give me that opportunity. And also, hopefully, it'll give you guys the opportunity to know me a little bit more. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully I see you guys there. Again, link will be down in the description for that. And I'll shut up now. Enjoy today's stories.
I did not know he looked like that. I said, he a pretty good looking fella. Pause. Alright, let's get it. Alright, so these are random as hell. So
when I was a kid, my family moved into a house in the suburbs of Ottawa, Ontario.
Okay.
It was a pretty normal residential neighborhood with houses on each side of the street. There was a neighbor that stood out from the rest. When my dad went across the street to introduce himself, he immediately got a strange vibe. She barely spoke, and wouldn't...
Bitch. That's your mother clucking gut talking to you. Listen to your mother clucking gut, bitch. I don't know what's wrong with me. Like, these past couple of videos, I've been very aggressive with my language. But I mean, you on your way to introduce yourself, and you got in your gut a pretty bad feeling. Listen to your shit. You know, you walking, and all of a sudden, your stomach says, no, making you turn, back up, and haul ass. You walking, no. And that, I mean, come on. Always listen to your mother clucking gut. Especially when you about to have sex.
The door more than a crack. She seemed very secluded and shy, and she didn't even give her name.
Right.
So we ended up calling her Crazy Lady.
See.
One day I was playing outside with my brothers. We were having fun, but there was this overwhelming feeling that somebody was watching us.
They are?
I tried not to think about it too much, but suddenly I heard a knocking sound on a window from the...
See, okay, so this first story is going to be cluck my gut, cluck the red flags. I'ma just do me. And if you do it like that, you'll get yourself clucked up more ways than you can possibly imagine, bitch. I don't know why I think bitch is like my favorite word. No, it's not. Fuck is, but cluck. You know what I'm talking about. See, because if I was in your shoes, I would have been playing, you know, with him. What do you say? Playing with his brother, right? But I feel somebody watching me. Oh, see. Okay. No, I feel like a pair of eye sockets are just locked onto me, but whatever, I guess. See, that's what I'm talking about. Somebody got their eyeballs locked on me. I don't know who it is. I don't know what it is. But I felt somebody corny is looking at me. Like, they got their shits locked onto me. I don't got time for this.
Across the street. I look over at the crazy lady's house. She was standing in front of her window watching us playing in our driveway.
Right.
We made eye contact for a moment, and I quickly looked away, wondering why she was just standing there watching us. I was also wondering how many times she had done this, and we just hadn't noticed. I went inside and told my parents, but they said not to worry about it.
So, all right, so the parents are clucking up. Okay. Okay, so this whole story, like, first, number one, I feel like story number one is just going to take the cake home. You know, home run all the way with the most cluck ups. All right, so y'all remember that game where I played with y'all, pause, and I stared at y'all, and y'all looked away? Y'all know how creepy that was? Let's do that again, because the crazy bitch looked at the kids, stared them down. So it's like, that's weird. Let's play that game again. I'm gonna stare at y'all, right? Right? And then you look away. No, I'm gonna stare at y'all for like 3 seconds. After 3 seconds is up, you look away for like 3 seconds, and then look back at me. But I'm gonna still be staring. Tell me that's not creepy. All right, where's the camera? Where's the camera? Is that a camera? All right. All right, we about to play the game. You ready? Let's go. On the count of 3, we're gonna play the game. 1, 2, 3. Stare. Now look away. Look back at me. See how creepy that was?
It seemed that every time we were outside, I noticed her standing in her front window.
Right.
She never smiled or waved, just stared.
See.
The only time she would ever speak to us was when a ball or something else we were playing with rolled into her driveway, and we had to go fetch it. She would come outside and almost immediately start yelling at us, telling us to get off her property. Fast forward about 5 years.
Cluck it, bitch. You can hold it. Hold the ball. I don't even want it. Granted, it's been in our generations for years. I don't want it no more. Go ahead and have it. Obviously, there's something wrong. I'm gonna stop pausing so much in this. I don't know why I'm pausing so much in this video, but go ahead and have it, lady. Like, you got it. That's disgusting. Like, ew. And if you worried about things and people coming onto your property, how about you build a big ass fence or a dome from like the Simpsons movie? Y'all remember the Dome Depot? Y'all remember that? The dome from the Simpsons movie? Probably not.
And my neighbor finally disappears. It was as if one night she just up and left. No one in my family was sorry to see her go.
Right.
But even when she left, that wasn't the end of it. One night not long after, we heard sirens outside of our house. The fire department and paramedics had all gathered outside the crazy lady's home. My mom went over to them and tried to explain that the house was empty, but they responded that they had received a call from a medical alert necklace at that address.
Right.
We all went back to sleep, assuming something had gotten mixed up and they just ended up at the wrong address.
My ass.
Eventually, a new family moved into the house. We all went over to introduce ourselves, and we got to talking about the woman who used to live there. They seemed confused and told us that they had owned that property for many years, and no one, at least according to them, was supposed to be living there. Eventually, through their oldest son, my family and I learned 2 things later on. Upon re-entering the house, there had been a single chair facing the window in front of the living room, and that no one could remember leaving it there. Second, down in the basement, there was a small room.
Basement.
More of a storage space, really. It was locked from the inside, and the family couldn't access it. The parents never remembered it being locked or requiring a key. To the best of my knowledge, they never got access to the space. But I couldn't help but wonder, even years later, if the remains of that old woman were down there, behind that locked door.
That's something that you do not need to worry about. You do you. And that's it.
When I was 17, I worked on my grandfather's horse ranch in Colorado.
Right.
This was back in the late 80s, when throwing the football around and drinking were all there was to do, when I wasn't cleaning out the barn or feeding the horses. At the time, both my father and my grandfather were well known throughout the community as being upstanding people. and it seemed as though everyone who encountered them in town was on a first-name basis with them. As a result, that made me well known during social gatherings as well. I don't remember the exact date, but it was late November or early December of '88. I was horseback riding deep through the...
Do you realize how... I just thought about it. Do you realize how creepy that sounds? You know? Like, I mean, it's not creepy on YouTube because we're a family. But, like, can you imagine, like, thousands of people knowing you, right? And all your personal shit? But you don't know those thousands of people that know you. Like, they only know you, but you don't know them. That's creepy as hell. You know? And I'm not saying, again, I'm not saying, like, I'm not coming at y'all. I'm just saying, like, you know, that's just, like with, like actors and like musicians and all that, like famous people. You know, like, there's literally thousands, if not millions of people that know almost everything about that one person, but that one person doesn't know anything about y'all. Like, come on, that's weird and creepy. You got it. But we family, so I don't care if y'all know everything about me. You know, it's okay because we family. That's cool.
Woods with my cousin Roy.
Woods.
It was the furthest we had ever traveled back into our family's property.
You got it.
We were enjoying the sensation of exploring a new place. I was focusing mostly on the compass because I didn't want to get lost, but Roy was scanning the tree line for new landmarks and anything interesting worth investigating. I wasn't expecting him to find anything, so I nearly fell off my saddle when he pointed out what appeared to be an RV parked amongst the trees. We made our way towards it on the horses, and discovered it to be one of those old-fashioned truck RV campers that had its own power supply. It wasn't really parked on a dirt road or anything. It was more of an open avenue between the trees, wide enough to fit through. I had no idea which direction the closest road was. My very first thought was that it had to be abandoned, but the closer we got, the more obvious it became that it was in pretty good shape. Almost new, I would say.
Set up!
I stepped down off of my horse and knocked on the door.
Set!
I was curious to know if someone was living out here on our property and therefore trespassing,
Up!
or if it belonged to the 24 or so people my grandfather knew from town, and most likely I would know them as well. After knocking several times, I tried the handle to discover that it was locked.
Come
Now,
on.
the practical thing would have been to note our position and head back home, and ask our family if they knew what it was. But we were teenagers and had no common sense. We wanted to explore further, and went to the far side and discovered the window opposite the door was cracked. I pulled it halfway open and peered inside. The first thing that hit me was the smell. It was like a wave of burnt bacon mixed in with stale tobacco.
That's sus. That's sus. That's a red flag right there. Like, if you go to somebody's house and the first thing you smell is, what do you say, burnt bacon and some tobacco, back the hell up, close that door, haul ass, and pretend you never even did what you did. How do you tell somebody they stink? That, like, you don't know. Like, it's easier to tell that, to say that to a friend. But, like, or a family member. But, like, to people that you barely know, or not at all, how do you tell somebody you stink without... I feel like there's no way of you saying that to a stranger without sounding rude or, like, mad disrespectful. You can't just be like, oh, damn, you stink. You can't, like, without sounding rude as hell. Or can you be like, you walk past, or, like, you just randomly inhale through your nostrils. Be like, watch your nose flare. And you get that awful, horrible whiff of that smell. Say something like, so yeah, I just want to say, back up, please. Just stay right there. Come on, because you already killed all my nose hairs. I just want to say, like, Dude, back the hell up. Like, come on. I don't know why you creeping. You fine right there. And you not fine, but stay right there, please. Yeah, I just want to say, because I randomly inhaled through my nostrils, that, you, come on, yo. I told you to stay right there. Like, you did not have to move. Like, that's your, alright, you know what? Clucky. You boofing. You stink. Like, you smell disgusting. Like, you're nasty. Your breath is hot, too. Like, you killed all my nose hairs. I'm never gonna get them shits back. Right? Fucking burn my eyebrows off. Like, come on, yo. Like, you're ill. I would hate for it to go. I would hate to be your neighbor. I would hate to be, anything. You smell horrible. Your neighbors. I feel bad for your neighbors. Like, I bet you somebody was to go over your house, they would die right there on the spot. They don't even have to go into your house. They can just be right there on your property, and that person passed out because you stink so bad. See, I was trying to be nice. But you weren't fucking listening to me, and you kept inching up and up. Like, you kept getting closer and closer. Like, I told you just to ask to stay right there, but you don't fucking listen to me. Okay. There's no way, I don't care how you say it, there's no way of telling a stranger or somebody you barely know that they stink. Sometimes you just gotta be blunt and honest. Be like, hey, you boofing.
Roy jokingly asked me if I found any bodies in there as I
What?
turned around.
What the hell?
It was late in the morning and the sun was high, and even though there weren't any lights on in the camper, I could see well enough by the light peeking through the cracks in the window blinds.
Man.
There was a couch, a small table, some ugly carpeting, and about 3 different ashtrays at least. Hello? I called out. I stated my name. After a few moments of silence, I concluded that there was no one there.
Why did you say your name?
I peered my head further in to get a better look.
Back up.
I saw a tiny kitchen area with a sink, countertop, and cabinets.
It's a setup.
I was about to pull my head back out when I noticed something. One of the cabinet doors was ajar, and I could see something large and bulky was preventing it from shutting.
Come on.
I stared at it hard.
Come on.
I then walked out into the woods and found the longest stick I could easily carry.
Damn!
Back. What is it? I didn't answer him, and carefully extended the stick into the camper. After a few close scrapes on the cabinet door, I managed to knock it open a bit wider. My stomach sank, and my heart started racing. I pulled the stick back and turned to my cousin. What does that look like to you in the cabinet? I pointed. I didn't tell him what I thought it was. I wanted to see if he identified it as the same thing I did at first glance. Roy peered inside and stared for about 3 seconds. Shit. I don't know what that is. But what does it look like? I insisted. Roy was silent for another few moments, and then jumped back from the window. Holy shit, is that a head? Like a human head? I peered in again. What the thing in the cabinet definitely looked like was a human head lying on its left ear, facing the back of the cabinet. So all I could really see was the dark hair and the right ear. I couldn't see the neck very well, as it was still out of sight behind the cabinet door. No way that's real. Roy tried to laugh.
Don't find out. Nah, whether it's real or it's fake, you do not need to. What you doing is so extra. You're extra. So stop what you doing. Back the hell. You know what? I must just stop clucking talking. Cluck the both of y'all.
I wanted to agree with him, but the cold pit in my stomach wasn't letting me. Something about the hair had that disheveled look, and the skin was a clammy white, and there was this rotten meat smell from inside.
See.
Well, what else could it be?
See.
I remember asking Roy. I wanted him to say something ridiculously obvious that it might have been, but he only shrugged. I picked up the stick again, and stuck it through the window for a second time. I wanted to physically poke at it so I could get a better sense of what it was. I leaned in as far as I could and caught the cabinet's edge with the stick and tried to swing it further open. That's when a cold hand grabbed my arm and knocked the stick out of my grip. I only remember the next few moments as a blur. I can recall the feeling of an intense shock and jerking my arm backwards. I caught a glimpse of a bare-chested, bearded man. I wrenched my arm back as hard as I could and was surprised when he let go of it casually. But the thing that made me most horrified in that moment wasn't seeing the man's face, but catching a glimpse of what appeared to be a second head itself at the far side of the camper over the man's shoulder.
Dang.
I yelled at Roy to run to the horses, and we both mounted up and rode out of there as fast as we could. I recall hearing the camper door swing open hard, and the sound of a rifle being fired. We didn't look back for several minutes, until we were in a familiar area. We then slowed down and changed direction as we made our way back to the house. Roy and I immediately encountered my father coming down the stairs as we sprinted into the house. We told him everything, possible decapitated head and all. I'll never forget the look on my father's face. He didn't seem surprised or alarmed, only annoyed. He told us to get the horses back in the barn, and that no one was to call the police. He would handle it himself. With our adrenaline still racing, Roy and I returned the horses to the barn and made our way back to the house. My dad made us wait in the living room for our grandfather to come home. And when he did, the four of us sat down at the dining room table and had a long talk. My grandfather looked us both dead in the eye and said if we ever spoke about this to anyone, we would be denied our inheritance of the ranch. We never discussed it again beyond that point, but Roy and I still talked about it plenty. We even rode out there a week later to see if the camper was still there.
See, because if I was a dad, I would take them back home. I would have sat them down. I was like, and I would have been like, pretend this is paper, right? Or in here is paper, right? And I would have been like, y'all see this? You see you know what this is, right? That's right. It's divorce papers. I'm this close to signing to divorcing both of y'all mother cluckers. Okay? I'm really clucking close. Because what did I say? What did I say the day y'all were born? I know y'all remember that. The moment both of y'all bitches popped out. What did I say? What did I say? Let this happen again? Best believe both of y'all mother cluckers not gonna be related to me. Just saying.
But it was gone. We followed the wheel marks for over 3 miles of bush and leaves. We tracked it to a dirt road where we lost the trail. My grandfather died in 2003, and my father recently passed away of heart failure earlier this year.
Damn.
Given our inheritance is secure, I finally decided to write about this experience.
My candle?
Light your candle so it'll be all smelling good out here.
Oh, it's kind of.
It's what? It's
out.
what?
It's out.
The candle is gone?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's all right. Okay.
Because the memory has been haunting me for years. Roy and I speculate that my father and grandfather knew the man that was out there, and even had their permission to be there. But when we stumbled across him and he shot at us, everything changed, and he was driven off of the property. Had my father just blown it off and told us we were crazy, I may have slept better that night, but the fact that we were threatened into silence made me think that the matter was deadly serious, and maybe those heads we saw were real. I feel in my bones that my family helped shelter a dangerous man and potentially cover up his crimes. I feel something may be unearthed one day that will come back to haunt us.
Yeah, no shit. Maybe.
I would like to start off by saying that if it wasn't for me stumbling upon this channel and getting royally freaked out by all the scary stories, I don't think my children and I would still be here today. A few weeks ago, on a Saturday morning, my kids and I were all sitting around the breakfast table enjoying some pancakes. My husband is doing his usual rushing around, getting ready for work because he had overslept yet again. As we were saying our goodbyes, I reminded him that the kids and I were going to the local splash pad for the afternoon. I never used to lock the doors to the backyard because it was fenced in with a locked gate, so I didn't see the need. Today, though, I locked it out of paranoia because I had kinda gotten spooked from watching a Unit 522 video the night before. Even though a break-in was highly unlikely, I suddenly didn't feel like tempting fate and challenging a burglar. I got to doing chores around the house when I noticed it was raining outside. Figuring the splash pad was no longer an option, I left the room and tried to find an activity that would keep the kids occupied, and we ended up building a couch fort. After a short while, I got up and returned to the laundry room to check the machine. As I was preparing a new load, I noticed our back gate was wide open. I thought it was strange. Even with the wind, the lock should have held. The thought had barely finished forming in my head when my daughter came rushing into the kitchen and said, "Mommy, there's a man at the window. He waved at me." Feeling confident that my daughter's imaginative mind was playing tricks on her,
Imagination. I wanna yell this part so bad, but my grandmother is literally in the next room, door open, and I know she can hear me if I yell it. But imagination, my ass. Oh shit. Sorry.
Followed her back into the living room. My heart then stopped. On the other side of the window was a very dirty man, wearing a black tattered leather jacket.
See.
He had long, oily hair.
No,
He
I'm
wasn't
ill.
even trying to be discreet, and was staring directly into our house. He had his eyes on my son, who was sitting in the middle of the living room. "Hey, what are you doing?
Sus.
Get the hell out of my garden!"
Sis.
I
I said
shouted
sis.
at him. He gave me the biggest, most malicious smile. In his right hand, he lifted a very large, bloody kitchen knife. Adrenaline and panic kicked in, and I grabbed my son and my daughter as calmly as I could. I took them upstairs and told them that we were playing a game of hide and seek, and that they needed to hide in the wardrobe and stay quiet. My daughter had enough sense to know that we were hiding from the man outside, but I assured her that the man was a friend, and she didn't have to worry.
What?
I walked back downstairs. I opened a closet door, grabbed a baseball bat, and held it over my head, ready to swing at anything. I went back to the living room window where the man had been standing. He was gone, but he left a bloody handprint on the glass. I grabbed my phone and called the police. After explaining the situation, they told me they would have an officer over as soon as possible. The officer arrived in a matter of minutes, and I showed him the bloody handprint on the window. He went outside to investigate. While he was doing that, I got my kids out from my bedroom. I sat them down and let them watch cartoons while I spoke to the officer, and he informed me that there were bloody fingerprints on my back door handle. The guy had been trying to get in. The next few hours were a blur. The officer called somebody out to take samples of the blood. They took my statement, and my husband took the rest of the day off to be with us. The officer contacted me and said they had arrested the man who was in the back garden. Apparently, the man had done the exact same thing to another family just 2 days after it happened to me. The blood on the window had been his own. According to the police, the guy had been recently released from a mental institution and had not been taking his medication. God only knows what he would have done to us if he had managed to get in.
So what you're saying is, nah. How you gonna leave the door open? Nope. No, hell no. Especially because I'm watching something horror. Nope. So what you're saying is, the people at the mental hospital or the mental whatever, like the place that the crazy guy was at, the people that was supposed to be watching him, it's their fault. Sons of bitches. It's their clucking fault for letting him release. if anybody, if anything, those people should get locked up because I feel like they was in cahoots. There it is.
Maybe his intention was only to scare us.
No.
But maybe it was something far worse. I truly believe that Unit 522's channel saved me and my children that day. If it wasn't for my paranoia due to watching his videos, I think the outcome would have been completely different.
Oh, yeah. He gonna play music? You gonna play it? Is this it? That's not it.
There's always a reason
Come on.
to be afraid.
Hey, does anybody else like dance when this comes on? So I'm not even gonna lie. Like I'm still stuck on the first story because they did so many things that were clucked up. I literally lost count how many times they clucked up in the first story. Like granted, like the other two stories. I mean they were clucked up too. But like I told you, number one was gonna take it all the way home. It was a home run on that ass because they clucked up so much, it's not even funny. So with that being said, comment below if you have any sus, weird, creepy neighbors. And I'm talking like in a negative sense. Like, I don't think I do, but then again, I'm like to myself. I don't really like talking, to my neighbors. That's just me. I mean, I may say hi or bye or hey, how are you? But I'm not about to hold on. I'm not about to hold a whole conversation. So yeah, comment below if you have any sus, weird, creepy mother clucking neighbors because I know that some of y'all do, so yeah. Keep it cool, keep it classy, and I love you. Stay happy, my family, and happy Thanksgiving. God, I hope this goes up today on Thanksgiving, because if it doesn't, and it goes up the next day, happy belated Thanksgiving.